everybody. Another Zapp Comic Video podcast. Sorry for the delay again. A little busy. We had our huge sale at the store. Thanksgiving, a lot going on. Of course, we are brought to you by Zapp Comics, and we're powered by Audio Boom. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere else online. It's pretty cool. One of my favorite topics in the store is talking about movies and the generation difference and generation gap between our clientele and workers and people that come in the store. It's kind of funny to see what movies people like and don't like. So I want to talk about my favorite Star Wars movie. It's not the best Star Wars movie, but it's my favorite one. Return of the Jedi. Again, I think Empire is the best one, hands down, but I love Jedi because I was 6 years old when it came out. I saw it in the theater. So Jonny Knoll, Dr. Jonny Knoll, you haven't been on this in a while.
Yeah.
So you're back.
It's been a while.
He is going to talk about, he's on my side with this because we're basically the same age. And then we have Patrick James McCloskey over here, who's what, 23?
Yeah.
24, 23?
Yeah.
And you just saw this movie for the first time like last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you weren't a fan of the original or any of the movies.
Yeah, not really.
For that matter.
Mm-hmm.
But you're pumped for the new one.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, the funny thing about Jedi is it gets hammered by being the worst of the trilogy. And I always call BS on that because all the people that hammer it are usually like my age. And I was 6 in 1983 when it came out. I saw it in the theater. I was so excited. I was obsessed with Jabba the Hutt, the whole Rancor, the Sarlacc pit, the Emperor's Royal Guards, Boba Fett getting tossed around, the Ewoks. I was 6 years old. So anybody who's my age that says Ewoks are lame is lying because you were 6 years old.
Yeah.
You like them. I mean, when you're older, you're like, oh, they're stupid. But when you were 6 years old, you loved them.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the thing. The thing I have an issue with, but it's not really an issue, is that you think this is a comedy. Okay? But I'm on your page in this because when I first saw Young Frankenstein, which was considered the funniest movie alive, I didn't even laugh. I was like, it wasn't a bad movie. I didn't even laugh. And I could not make it through. What's the other one?
Blazing Saddles?
Blazing Saddles. I couldn't sit through it. I couldn't do it. And I never saw them until now.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things you have to see when it comes out.
Of course. Yeah.
Now, if you don't know Patrick, first off, he's the most jovial, lively kid in the store, which is obviously a lie. But Pat loves seeing people fall and get hurt. Okay? So if you show him a gif of like a guy getting kicked in the head and falling out the window, Pat will lose his mind. If you put some WWE like commentary on the video of a woman falling out of a burning building, Pat will lose his mind. So Pat comes in to work. I'm all excited. I'm like, Pat, what'd you think of the trilogy? We talk about Jedi, and he tells me that he's never seen something funnier than when Vader picks up the Emperor and tosses him down the shaft. I mean, it was uncontrollable. So I put the scene on in the store, and Patrick, like, he couldn't even breathe or stand up for like 20 minutes. It was like I got worried for you for a second.
I'm not the only one, though.
I know, but now when I look at it, I laugh. I think it's funny, but I never thought it was funny before. So I guess, it is kind of, no, and he just throws him down the thing. But
well, didn't they do? The original one, he didn't say anything.
Yeah, I think that.
I don't remember. You know why they've done it so many different times? I can't remember what the original.
They added that.
Yeah.
They added that. No, because before he just did it. And
doesn't say that when he goes down the thing, doesn't it kind of like echoes and he like screams?
No, he doesn't because he just fires.
He just fires off the
side. Yeah, he doesn't say anything. The Emperor, nobody says anything.
See, I think it's funny because I think of the robot chicken.
Well,
when he's falling,
yeah.
And he's like, "How did I get to this point?" And then he goes, "But that's funny." Yeah. But the way Patrick laughs at this, it's like
it's just because it's physical pain.
To side with Pat though,
it's like the ultimate power.
I don't know if you guys have seen. If you look it up, just look at when the raccoon gets thrown. There's a video of a guy, and his dog was getting attacked by a raccoon in like a stairway, and there's two cameras. There's like one above them and one behind them, and he runs down, and his poor dog is getting attacked by a raccoon, which you assume would be rabid. Okay, now what would you do? Most people would yell at it, throw something at it, kick it, I don't know, do anything they could, This guy runs down there, picks the raccoon up over his head, and then throws it down the stairs, and the raccoon spins in the air, like, and all you can see at the end of stairway because it's dark as his eyes. and no raccoon on Earth has ever been thrown like that. So ever by anything, whether it's a bear or whatever, never.
Yeah.
So if you ever look it up, just type in type in like a dog raccoon fight or something, and they made videos of it. They've added sound to it. It's hilarious. But I can't watch that without like hurting myself. So I guess I can feel your pain for that, but that's funny because it's a guy throwing a raccoon.
Yeah.
But when Vader picked, this is a big moment in Star Wars. Like, he goes good.
Oh yeah.
He redeems himself, and all you can do is laugh.
So I don't know, like the Emperor is like this all-powerful being, and nobody can stop him. Darth Vader just walks up behind him and tosses him down a hole.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Vader's also all powerful. I mean, he's super powerful.
But he didn't use his superpowers.
Well, he did. Well, he doesn't. He just picked them up. He's like,
gravity.
hey.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you gotta go back to your roots. Be like, listen, lightsabers are down, powers down. I'm just gonna pick you up and toss
If you think about it, it's probably because he didn't. If he used his powers, it would have been the dark side powers.
Yeah.
So he would have killed with anger.
I mean,
like if he just did it under his own power, he was doing something good. He was helping out Luke.
And then the Emperor was a pretty old man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
The reason why I love Jedi, like I said before, is it has some of the best scenes in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, the Boba Fett, which is actually kind of sad because Boba Fett is this well-loved, like, cult figure that everybody wants, and his beginning and ending are awful because he started in that holiday special, riding a serpent with a trident, and he had like a third eye on his head, and it was bad. And then they recall his toy because of the rocket, and he gets no love there, and he's in the movies for like 3.5 minutes altogether, and then he gets killed by like he kind of goes down like the Emperor. The Emperor gets tossed down the shaft. Boba Fett gets his rocket thing, and he gets eaten.
And he
by
got on purpose. Like which girl does it by mistake?
I think his death was even worse.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
Boba Fett, where? And he hits him. So
well, it's like one of those things. It's like why he was so popular in the first place. I mean, I understand he kind of looked cool. He didn't talk.
I think it's
so
just
there was nothing.
I love Boba Fett. I just think he's cool, like the way he looks. Talking about his costume, and I know it was designed by like college students. I think it's just really cool. I mean, his design is really nice. There was always that mysterious backstory that they ruined with, obviously the original.
Like Wolverine, I mean, it's cooler when you don't know anything about him.
That's the problem with our stuff. Growing up, you knew nothing about Wolverine.
Yeah.
You knew nothing about Darth Vader. You knew nothing about Boba Fett. You knew a little bit, but not like, it was like kind of neat. And then when they finally said, okay, we're going to tell you, it's like, don't, because they ruined it. Vader, like, looks like a whiny kid, and they're really trying, in the new comic, they're actually doing a good job of it, making him a badass again. Wolverine, he's so unrecognizable now, it's like you don't even know what he is. And then Boba Fett, like they made the clone thing, and they completely killed that. I'm hoping they kind of erase it with the new stuff without Lucas, which I think they can do. But like when I was a kid, though, that Jabba scene, like when that door first opens, and you see Bamal Monk, the spider kind of walk in the corner, and the Gamorrean guards are there, and the whole creature with Amanaman and the Reese and all of them, and then EV-99 sitting there. EV-99 was a droid that kind of took in the droids at the checkpoint. Yeah. And it's like, you were a feisty little one to R2. Mm-hmm. She was a female droid, but she was like the head torture droid. So, okay. But it was like neat, and the music was so iconic. And then the new ones, they changed the music, they made it look like the Muppets. But the original version is phenomenal.
They didn't have the whole dance scene. I mean, that's the whole thing, the whole Ula going into the Rancor pit.
The Rancor pit was awesome. I mean, it's tense too. And then like seeing the Rancor, did you laugh when the Rancor got killed and the Rancor pit was crying? Were you laughing at that?
No.
Poor guy.
You just laughing when people get tossed down the thing?
Yeah. I don't know.
If somebody throws him down a hole, it's funny. If somebody falls down a hole, it's not.
Not as good.
No. So and the film also gets a lot of heat too because it was supposed to be the Kashyyyk. The planet Kashyyyk, and they made it like Ewoks.
But that's the thing. Like I always hear people talking about that, but I never saw anywhere.
No, I know they did.
Like,
and you know what too, though?
Like, is it just people making the stuff up?
Not just that though. Like when I was a kid, I wasn't into Star Wars. I played. My brother had the figures, so I played with them. I knew who they all were. I knew who Vader and Han Solo. But I always played with like Greedo, Walrus Man. I like the creatures. The movies to me were boring. Like I could sit through New Hope because of the cantina scene. Like that to me, I was like, I can do this. Empire, when I was little, it was boring. I got very bored with it until I saw the AT-ATs. That's the only scene I liked when I was little, because it was like, it's a long movie. It's really deep. You know, I didn't care.
Too,
yeah, I didn't care about the Empire stuff. I was bored. But Jedi with all the creatures was cool. And I remember in my school, the Ewoks were huge. It's a business too. You know, you got to market it to the everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some of the cool. I mean, that's when the shuttle comes down.
Yeah.
And there's just an army of all the troopers.
Oh yeah,
and
that's awesome.
Emperor's Royal Guards are the best things in the movie. You know, so. I'll say it is the weakest of the films in that sense, but I do love it because that's the only one I saw in the theater. I never, I think it's one of those things that if I saw it now for the first time, like through Patrick's eyes, it probably wouldn't have been my favorite.
Well, it doesn't.
Oh, it's my favorite.
It's hard to stand on its own. You kind of have to know what comes before. It works well as a trilogy, but if you didn't see it before, like Star Wars works. Fine.
If you're done with the first Star Wars, you're okay because they blew the Death Star up, everything's good, and you. Yeah.
But even like Empire, like it crutches on what happened on that first one to know what's going on. Especially this, they're getting Han out of the carbonite, so you really don't have to know what's going on there.
Plus, there was a 3-year gap when these movies came out. Han was in that carbonite for 3 years. You know what's going on.
Well, so was between the other.
I know, but I'm saying with Han being gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you got to find a way. And Leia and the Boschus guys was awesome.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like was Lando as a skiff guard. Like, he didn't look like a skiff guard.
Well, he was, but there's other humans in there.
Know, but
you don't see it. But I've been looking up at the thing. There's other guys that were just human beings that were just hanging out.
Yeah.
So I mean, they would just be aliens there.
No, I know. But I love the Jabba. The Jabba scene is, Size Noodles and Rebo Band and the music and Salacious Crumb.
But just,
I mean, Leia strangling Jabba is great.
Yeah. I mean, it works. I mean, the whole scene works from the beginning, from when they show up as gifts and till they leave.
No, and Luke coming in there just like wrecking havoc. It was great. So what didn't you? I know you're not a fan of the original movies, not because you hate them. I just think it's a. I know you're pumped for the new one.
Yeah, definitely.
So, out of the original ones, though, no, I'm not going to talk about the prequels. They don't count. The trilogy, like.
Yeah.
Do you understand why it's so big?
Yeah, I get it, and I love that they have like what it is. I love the fan base and stuff like that. I think it's cool. Like I like when people get excited about things, but it's just I don't know. I didn't get it myself. It's just kind of not that I fell short. It's just not something that I was that into.
Well, I think now as a 38-year-old man, I think if I saw Jedi for the first time in the Ewoks, I don't think I would enjoy it as much. I'd be like, maybe if I saw it with my kids.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
like, before I saw the movies, and I played Battlefront back on PS2, and I was on, was it Kashyyyk, I guess?
Well, that's Endor's with the Ewoks. Kashyyyk's where Chewbacca's from.
Okay, Endor's, yeah.
Actually, the forest moon of Endor.
Yeah.
Endor is the gas giant that, the moon of Endor.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a big, like Jupiter.
Okay, so
and it's one of its
Endor
moons.
is the forest moon of Endor is where the Ewoks are.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't get why they were fighting the Empire in succeeding. Okay. It was a little confusing to me.
Because you know why? They were like...
But I get it now.
You know why?
At the time I was just like, I don't get it.
Ewoks are kind of like the Americans, and the Empire is like the British. They're just marching in, and we're in the trees, like throwing rocks at them and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
They're very,
It's fine. Like, I get it, like, especially from the marketing.
But also, when you think about it, they're underestimating them. They think of there's little...
Yeah, they're
small
just
little things,
like,
they're
like
not,
they're sheep, like in grazing. The next thing you know,
and they don't care about them, so they're like, oh, whatever.
Yeah,
and,
I get that. Yeah.
And maybe they wouldn't go after them normally, but because of.
But it's like I just thought like this empire that's like dominating the galaxy would just not even care and just blow them up.
Well, they're like with the first film, they overlook everything.
Yeah.
They're like,
I get that, and also
There's different, that's the thing. I mean, like, if they don't have to, they don't, I mean, like, there's, and not all everybody in the Empire is evil, some people are just there doing their job, doing whatever,
I mean?
But,
it's fine.
I distinctly remember waiting in line, because back then there wasn't very many theaters, like there are now. I remember my dad took me and my brother, we waited in line for a long time, and I remember it was like, they had like the red carpet and the stanchions I got to go through. It was just really, I don't think you get that now, because now it's kind of like you can go to which theater. There's thousands of theaters and everybody goes, but it's not like it's still an event. It's just not as the feeling's gone. I guess the only thing I can compare it to is like when you go to like Comic-Con now.
Yeah.
It's all one place and that's it. that's kind of how it was back then. It's like if you could, I don't think we saw it opening night. I don't remember when we saw it, but
I mean, I didn't go back then, but I know like a couple movies of recent years, like the last Harry Potter movie was pretty big. There was like a big, I don't know, turnout for that. Like
it was different too because back then the newspapers didn't really say anything, and unless you heard it from word of mouth, you weren't spoiled because you didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Well, I kind of wish that was still true.
Yeah, that's gone. So, this, you know, the atmosphere of it, and I remember seeing, you know, Jabba, and I distinctly remember when the Ewoks take out one of the biker scouts and it like goes around the tree. I remember like being like, that's the coolest thing I ever saw on TV, you know, on the movie in my life, because I was, you know, 6. It might have been one of my first movies, because I don't remember. I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember seeing like Gremlins and Ghostbusters and Red Dawn and stuff like that, but I don't remember what my first actual film was.
See, I remember because I saw Empire. Because I remember like.
Well, you're a year and a half old.
I'm a year old, yeah, because I was 4. But I remember distinctly because we saw it on the theater that whatever is Daffy's now in 46. It's not there anymore. But there was a guy that the theater had dressed as Darth Vader, and he was waiting there in front and doing all this stuff. And that's the part I distinctly remember the most. And I remember, but then when that came out, I was 7, and I couldn't wait. Like I remember I was waiting to see this movie.
Oh yeah,
and
it was great.
But the toys came out first because that's what you kept saying with Jabba. I remember I had a Jabba action figure, but it wasn't free. It was a present for somebody for their birthday that we got. And I remember I had it in my room, and I would just stare at the box. And I would just be like, oh, this is so awesome. And like, yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things in Star Wars is just the aliens.
Oh, yeah.
And just the amount of different aliens that they have. And
they were cool looking. They weren't lame aliens. They were cool looking aliens. You know, like a lot of toy lines get sloppy and they just kind of put things together. These were like really well put together aliens.
Like Star Trek it was always a humanoid, and they just looked a little bit different. Like Star Wars tried to make different looking things. It wasn't just a bipedal person. You know what I mean? It was like a freaky looking, walrus man.
I think that might have I didn't collect the figures. I think I would have been way more.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is the figures gave the characters life, because there's certain characters that are in the film for like 1 second they have a line. You don't even know their name.
Yeah.
The only know name is because they have an action figure.
Yeah.
On that, you would never know who they are. You know, and like even like Admiral Akbar. I mean, that just he stole the show and he's in it for like 2 seconds. You know, I mean, and even though Leia said that earlier in the franchise, but it's a trap. But it's still cool. And I mean,
well, she had a bad feeling about it.
Yeah, like I if I could watch one of them over and over again, it's Jedi. I mean, I think Empire is the perfect Star Wars film, but I just think Jedi is just it's like eating candy to me. I'll just sit there. It doesn't fill me up. I just keep eating it.
Yoda dies.
Oh.
You know, the revelation of there is another.
There's another. And then Han's still jealous over Luke, and she's like, he's my brother. And he never addresses, like, I saw you make out with him, but it doesn't come up. But.
I was reading about that, like how because they had, basically Splinter of a Mind's Eye came out before they did, the whole thing. And that's why it's very, like, Luke and Leia kind of like, hey, how you doing? And then it, like, came out and, like, they did the thing. But eventually they re-released it, and it does, it reads really horrible. Have you ever read it?
No.
I think they have it as a novel, but they also have it. It was in Dark Horse, illustrated it. Yeah, they had a totally inappropriate relationship in that.
Yeah. So, hey, they didn't know.
Yeah.
They're twins, technically, right? Yeah, they're twins.
Yeah, they are twins.
So, this is something. I don't know. Even like Lando, you can root for him in this movie too.
Mm-hmm.
He redeemed himself. He's not like kind of.
He wasn't. No, that was an
He's
Empire.
like a general in this one.
Yeah, General Calrissian. He didn't steal.
He's supposed to die in the original script.
Mm-hmm.
When him and Nien Nunb come out of the fire, when it's blowing up. In his original script, they die. They don't get out. So.
But they did.
That would have been tragic.
And then after the Jedi came out, the Star Wars fever went away, and they did the Power of the Force line in the '84, which came with the coins.
Yeah.
And those are the most sought after. That's because a lot of people didn't collect them because the window was gone.
Yeah.
Like the generation left.
Okay.
I mean, when did and then the Ewok show came on, which is awful.
It pretty much right after that.
The Droids cartoon.
Ewoks and Droids came out pretty much at the same time. After Star Wars, they had the remember the live action. They had the 2 live action Ewok movies.
Yeah.
Awful.
What is it?
Awful.
Brimley. Ed Brimley was his name.
It's
The
awful.
oatmeal guy.
And then the holiday special.
Well,
I don't know
yeah.
if you ever heard of that one.
I've heard about it.
Came out in '78. and they only aired once, and Lucas said don't ever air it again. I remember I bought a VHS copy of it in a show in the 90s. I was in high school. I was so excited we sat down to watch it, and it was the worst.
It's the Boba Fett thing you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the worst thing because they're like Han and Chewie go to like Chewie's family's house,
Mm-hmm.
and they just speak Chewbacca-ish, whatever
Yeah.
they speak for like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's just noises, and it's very uncomfortable and like dry and boring.
Yeah.
And then even I haven't seen it. I read the things for it. It was like B. Arthur was like a bartender,
It
and I
was
think
awful.
Harvey Korman, and they did bad jokes and.
It was bad. And the Boba Fett thing is just a weird little short animated
Mhm.
segment, and he, like I said, he's riding a serpent. Like he's kind of neat looking, but it's like, what the heck is he? You don't even know
Yeah.
what's going on. It's just one of those weird
Okay.
things, and they tried to forget about it, but people
Not
caught
one of
it.
their finer moments.
No, it was awful, awful. But all the guys are in it though. That's a weird thing. Everybody's in it. You know, Luke and all of them are in it. You know, all the.
Well, that's the
actors.
thing. Like he was heavily make-upped, Luke, because in a car accident.
If you notice, between
Yeah.
he's got a lot of scars because he almost died in a car accident.
Yeah.
So
But it fit with the Wampa part, so
yeah.
Oh,
maybe
right.
it worked for him.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I didn't know.
I don't know. Because yeah, he looks like he's like 12 in the first movie. He looks like he's 40 in the second movie. You know, it's only 3 years apart.
Mhm.
And they originally told Sir Alec Guinness, who played Obi-Wan, that he was Luke's father. So if it ever leaked to the press, that they knew who would say it. But David Prowse, who played Darth Vader in costume, told the British tabloids. It got out, and that's why if you ever look, David Prowse has nothing to do with Star Wars. They don't give any royalties or anything.
Because he leaked it?
Because he leaked it.
Oh, okay.
So he's always like the forgotten one. So I don't think he did it like meaning. I just think it just came out. He wasn't doing it to go against him. I just think it came out. And like right now, Mark Hamill I got paid an extensive amount to not say anything.
Mhm.
Like where he was. Like he can't say anything about the movie.
Yeah.
Also, still people are doing like about the whole Kylo Ren
He's
thing.
not Kylo Ren.
Well,
There's
the
no
thing-
way in hell he's Kylo
They
Ren.
just they have a new Lego set. They showed it, and it's like it's the planet where the flags are in the commercial.
Okay.
So it must be because there's a thing with it.
I think it's
And-
a temple. I think it's where he's hiding.
Yeah, and so they have it, and they're fighting, I guess, whatever. So they have a Kylo Ren figure, and then they have a picture of all the minifigures, and there's without his helmet, and he has the black hair of the
Yeah,
guy.
it's
you know what
not
I mean?
him.
It's not Luke.
And that goes against the entire point of the franchise, because if Luke is bad, it kind of kills it. People are not going to want that. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's the whole reason, because Darth Vader was trying to bring Luke to the dark side, so they would rule the galaxy together.
Yeah.
So why would he go and
It
then go
doesn't
back?
make sense,
Well, you know, maybe he
Makes
was
sense.
right.
I think Luke is like he's an Obi-Wan Jedi type. He's in the temple, either training or hibernating or I don't know, meditating. He's doing something up there. I don't know what he's doing, but I think that's what he's doing.
He's trying to repent after all those kisses to his sister.
No.
Yeah.
Boy. So, I'm sorry you were disappointed with the originals.
No, it's fine. It was okay.
I didn't hate them, but
they're
you know.
fine. Yeah. They're okay.
Listen, I got almost my eyes ripped out when I told people that I didn't think Young Frankenstein was funny. So I think it was bad. It wasn't funny. I
It
didn't laugh.
depends. Well, I mean, I didn't see it till
I'm sure if
later.
I was younger when I saw it.
That came
I
out in
liked
the
it.
70s, so I mean, I saw it when I was in the 80s, so, you know,
Yeah. but
I still like it.
Listen, when I first went Watchmen, I couldn't stand it. I read it in high school. I hated it, and then I read it like I don't know, 10 years ago, and I loved it. I just you gotta. Sometimes it's all about your mindset.
Well, it is. It's the time frame you see it, you know, sometimes it's nostalgia masks how good or bad it is. Like,
It's also
you know,
sometimes it depends on you're also the atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like, I can't sit down and watch a kiddie cartoon, but if I watch it with my kid, it's funny because you see her laugh, you kind of laugh with it, and you can get the if you really watch it, sometimes you get the adult things that they don't get, and it fits, you know. So
well, like we always talk about, like looking at like Transformers and
I can't,
He-Man,
ugh.
which I loved them as a kid.
I
Any
loved
cartoon I would watch a million times. If it was a cartoon, I would watch it. But if we watch, it's
we put them on in the
horrible.
store here, you know, mostly for just
Yeah.
for kicks. I could not sit down and say, hey, let's watch a season of He-Man. 'Cause I couldn't get through 5 minutes of it. I'd lose my mind.
It just
I couldn't-
doesn't.
It's like trying to watch Arrow. I can't get through 5 minutes of it, but I can watch Flash.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not just that. I mean, like we talked about like Tom and Jerry. I
Tom and
loved
Jerry's
Tom and Jerry as a
awful.
kid, but now I can't watch it.
Yeah.
It's hard to
nothing,
watch.
you know.
The
So,
only thing, you know what holds up? Jetsons holds up pretty well. I like the
I haven't
Jetsons.
really watched them.
Flintstones are good, but it's a little dry, and it's very like, you know, honeymooners-ish.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
like,
yeah.
It's very dated. Jetsons is kind of funny. I can still watch it, but there's certain ones I'm just like, oh, I don't know how. But you're a kid, you know.
Sure.
You your tastes are different. You look at things differently. You know, I don't. You know, like G.I. Joe, I can't watch it. I cannot watch it. And I loved G.I. Joe. I wore the VHSs out. I watched them so much. I just can't. I can't do it. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize he was talking. Pat was losing his mind today because Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Every time he goes on Conan, to show a clip of his new movie.
Yeah.
He just shows like this certain scene from Mac and Me.
Yeah.
I never saw Mac and Me, but I remember the commercials for it. It's like a generic ET movie.
Yeah.
And I remember the ads on the comic books too. And Pat like didn't know it was like a real movie. He's like, yeah, Mac and Me. I'm like, oh, it's real. But Pat was up with the story. Like, every time he goes on there, he'll show the clip, and he's like, no, I'm being serious this time, and he still shows the same clip.
It's the best clip.
I've seen that.
I didn't know he did that. I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Well, you love Paul Rudd, so.
You know, so Mac and Me, like, it's one of those movies. You know what it is. I never watched it. I'll never watch it. I mean, obviously, you know. I mean, but if you're, I guess, a kid in the '90s, you watched it. I didn't watch
Was
it.
it the '90s or was it the '80s? I think.
No, I think it was '90s.
I'm a '90s kid.
I mean, I remember it being around. I don't think I saw it in the theater.
I think it's '90s. I don't know.
Remember, was it the other one, Explorers?
Explorers, I love that movie. Explorers is great. It's very underrated. It's got Ethan Hawke, River Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
It's got oh crap, who's the guy that played the alien's voice? I forget. And it has what's her name in it too. She ended up dying. She was in with Patrick Dempsey when he was young. She plays a love interest. Love something.
Loverboy?
No, something about love. Is it something about love?
Is it? I know. What
She just died, and I
Okay.
didn't realize like she was like the hot thing. She was in Explorers, and in that, and she kind of disappeared. And right after she died, they said that on her 15th thing she was raped, and she just changed her life, and she was drugs and just went downward spiral. Like on her 15th birthday, she was like raped.
That's horrible.
It's awful. I can't think of the name of the movie. Love something. But Patrick Dempsey's in it.
Well, we could just...
Yeah, I know you can look it up, but But anyway, so
No,
Explorers is a good movie. I like it. It's one of those movies if you watch it now, you're like, but when you watch it as a kid, I remember seeing that in the theater. I think it's all about the experience.
Yeah.
You know, I saw 300 in IMAX, 3D, loud. It was like, this is the best thing ever. I went home and watched it. I'm like, I can't watch it.
Yeah, that was another thing. I saw it like a year after it came out, and I was not crazy about it.
No. Yeah.
It was fun.
In the theater, it was great,
yeah.
but I'm saying on TV, it was just like, it's not.
Well, it's like Avatar. Like, I've never seen Avatar, I admit it, because it's just, I read about it, it's Ferngully. But people saw it, they liked it because it was novelty, because they put the 3D well.
Listen,
so everybody went to see
when
the
I saw
3D.
it, I was bored out of my mind because my wife wanted to see it. I said, I'll see it. I was bored out of my mind. It was visually, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
The story had been told 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But all I could think of was like, oh my god, if they make another Jurassic Park movie, it's gonna be awesome. Because the creatures in the jungle scenes were beautiful.
They looked awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw The Good Dinosaur the other day, visually, I don't know how they do it. It looks real. Like the water scenes, I'm like, this is real. I don't know how it's not. It's not, but it looks like It looks like they're there. Like it is beautifully. Pixar is awesome, amazing.
It's they've come a long way.
Cause I made the mistake of not seeing Finding Nemo in the theater.
Okay.
But I watch it at home all the time, and I usually just have it on background. It's just a beautiful movie to watch.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Loverboy. No, look up Patrick.
I did. That's Patrick Dempsey.
Look his movies up.
I did. That's his.
There's something about love or
Loverboy, Some Girls.
no.
Sorry, Can't Buy Me Love.
Can't Buy Me Love. The girl in that. She was in Explorers. Right after that movie came out.
Amanda.
Unfortunately, she on her birthday. I just found out because she just died over the summer. I didn't know it was her, and I watched.
Amanda Peterson.
Yeah, I watched. I just recently I rewatched Explorers. I haven't watched it in like 20 years. I watched it, and I was like, oh my god, what happened to her? I looked her up. I'm like, oh yeah, that was her. And I'm like, oh, she was a big deal. What happened to her? And I looked, and it said she died. And I read into it, and it's because, but the family never told anybody that until just after she died. That's why she kind of just disappeared.
Yeah,
but she went into like a downward spiral after.
Her last one, Windrunner, in 1994.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, Explorers was great. River Phoenix, he died early.
He died of drugs. Well, a lot of those people from not our generation, but like from those 80 famous kids got into drugs.
River Phoenix was Joaquin Phoenix's brother.
Yeah. No, I knew that.
He was in Stand By Me.
Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Last Crusade. He was in the beginning. Young Indy.
Yep. He was like the hot thing. And
he was.
It died outside the Viper Room.
Mm-hmm.
On the sidewalk. I was in 92, 93. I remember it was in high school. I wasn't a senior yet. I remember when he died. It was weird because Brandon Lee died Like all these guys were dropping. Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain. He was.
It was all that same time frame. Brandon Lee died. That was weird. I remember seeing Crow in the theater, and it was so big that they actually let people sit on the floor in the middle of the aisles.
What?
Because it was on one screen. They just sold it. They just said go in. They don't care. Because it wasn't supposed to be a big movie, but it became big obviously after. And it was the first time they actually used CGI to recreate his face, and it was a good movie. I don't know if you like it, but
I don't know if I've seen it.
I think one of the best soundtracks of all time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's when soundtracks are good. Movies had like the best soundtracks. Even bad movies had good soundtracks. Judgment Night had an awesome soundtrack. The Last Action Hero, which is probably the biggest bomb in box office history, had a great soundtrack.
I enjoy that movie.
I'd never seen it.
Really?
I wasn't a Schwarzenegger guy. I never even sat through Terminator 2.
You know what? You might like it. It's like it's basically.
Yeah.
Like he goes. He has like a magic ticket, so he goes into the film, and basically he's in this film world. So, but like all the physics and everything are exactly like are the way it is in like in the movie. So like his daughter is this hot girl who drives like a 5 or like a big 4x4, like a monster truck. It's like he like wherever he walks, there's like a soundtrack going on, and like he can't get killed. Like he goes in, like he falls in a tar pit, and like he gets in the La Brea tar pits. Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he comes out and he takes like a paper towel and wipes it, and then
he's in the movies.
Like he has like he goes to the movies, and this guy there is like who's like the usher that's gonna close. So he has like a ticket, and Houdini gave it to him. So he gives it and he rips it, and it makes it the magic. Okay. So he goes into the movie.
Well, why are you laughing so much? Is that bad?
No, it's just Schwarzenegger.
You know what my favorite Schwarzenegger movie is like Twins.
That was a fun movie.
It was a fun
good
movie.
80s movie.
I love the first Terminator. I think it's beautifully done. I mean, I know the effects at the end are awful, but I give it a... Have you seen the first Terminator?
Yeah.
It's really good.
No, I know.
I've never sat through the second Terminator. I can't. To me, it's boring, and I don't...
I like it.
Bored. I don't like those movies. And, Predator is probably my favorite. Predator's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
awesome.
Predator.
Yeah.
Predator, as a standalone film's great. The second one you can ignore. But the first movie, Predator, is phenomenal. And, but I like Twins. Twins is great. No one ever talks about it.
It's just like that one that goes and then it goes away.
There's the second one, too, where he was pregnant.
That was a different movie. That was 9 months or... No, it wasn't. I forget the name of it. That was... No, it was... No, it wasn't Twins 2. It was a different name.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
Junior or something?
Yeah, it was... But I saw it, and actually, I'm sorry, True Lies is fun.
Yeah.
It's corny. It's corny, but it's fun. It's Kindergarten Cop. I never saw that. I know the line.
It's a quotable movie.
Is that the Kindergarten Cop? That is not a Tuma movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Tuma. It's not a Tuma.
Jingle All the Way. Is that what Sinbad?
Yes.
Yeah, with
the doll.
Turbo Man.
The Turbo Man. Yeah. It's some good stuff.
No, I listen. Schwarzenegger is fine. I just wasn't like
Conan.
I never saw it.
No,
I was never into the those guys. I wanted the Gremlins and Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm. Not to do, but you say Gremlins. You see, they're doing the new movie, the third movie.
It's not a reboot.
It's not.
It's like a. And they said there might be like a Godzilla-sized Gremlin in it, which means it's gonna be awful.
Whatever. But you know what?
But you know what? To be fair, the second one, I don't care who you are, is awful.
I
hate the second one. I can't watch it. It's not good.
It's a little bit different, but it's fun.
No, thank you.
They come to the city, and Trump. Basically, there's a guy called Clamp who's Trump.
It's Trump.
And they go in.
Listen, if you want to watch a really corny, this is what people viewed the '80s as movie, watch it. Because it's really bad. It's over the top. I guess it's kind of like the first one's so good. It's so dark.
It's different. That one it was more.
This is like a bad.
It wasn't really funny. There was funny parts, but it was more of a horror movie.
Yeah.
That was for kids.
I loved it. I was in second grade.
Yeah.
I was in second grade.
I remember it was a great movie. So that's the difference.
I saw Red Dawn in second grade. My neighbor took me to see Red Dawn.
Well, you could say Red Dawn could be for other, but Gremlins was marketed toward us.
Of course it was, and I bought everything for it. I love Stripe.
It didn't affect us. Of
course it did.
I remember.
Why would it?
Like we saw it. It did. Like now everything is like.
Because everything. Oh, little Jimmy can't see this. Yeah. Now it's too pampered.
Because
too much. I think personally.
His stuff. I mean, like it was like when the lady. Did you see Gremlins?
Yeah.
When the lady goes up the stairmat, not the stair, but the chair lift, and they do it, and she flies out the window.
I don't remember.
They
See, that one I
put
would
the
think
gremlin in the
I gotta look
the
that
blender.
up. Wait, what?
The gremlin goes in the blender.
Yeah, I
they put him in the microwave.
Yeah.
In the original script, they killed a dog.
Really?
You know, they didn't do it in the movie, but
They nuked the one gremlin. She nukes him.
yeah, he blows up.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
When he comes out of the fountain at the end.
Yeah, when
you know,
he's
that's
all
cool,
melted.
Man. You know why? I guess it's because my parents didn't care what I watched, and because back then, like when it was like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, my mom was just like, if the girl took her shirt off, she's like, close your eyes. That's all they worried about was, you know, not seeing a naked person. Other than that, they were like, they knew it because they knew it wasn't gory.
No, it wasn't.
You know, it was, and you knew it was fake. Like I knew this isn't real.
Mm.
I guess nowadays with the internet and stuff like that, there's so much of that stuff that is real. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's one of those sensitive stuff. I mean, I have a daughter, and I'm sure I'm going to be overprotective of her too. So, and my son. But I don't know. We grew up on the stuff. We turned out fine. We didn't wear helmets. We played with lawn darts.
Yes.
You know.
Well, I was thinking about this. I think it's the age of being a child has extended. Because when we were younger, we were expected to be grown up fairly quickly.
Listen, my brother's 3 years older than me. So if I'm 4, he's 7, he's taking care of me. So if like we go outside, my mother's like, okay, watch your brother, and we would go, you know, from here to your house, Pat, on a bikes, and it wouldn't matter because that was my older brother. You know, he was only 7.
Yeah.
If I let my daughter's 3.5 go outside, I'm like I'm like having a heart attack. But I have so many memories at 3 and 4 by myself, like in the center of town, with like $2 in my pocket going to get candy, just walking up the street. I mean, if you saw that now, they would call it would be all over the news.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a very different time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pat, I don't know if I told the preschool one on here before.
I think you did.
But there was another one, I think.
No, it was the preschool one.
Oh, there was another one. His mother told me that Pat hated the car. So when they got somewhere to get out of the car seat, she would have to run around the car to get there first, because if you got out of the car seat, he would climb underneath the dashboard and hold on. They couldn't get him out of the car. So there was a race to get out of the car to get you out of the car
I
seat.
think that was for preschool, though.
Was it preschool?
Yeah. So it all goes to preschool.
So you don't want to go to preschool, so
No,
you would
not
hold
very.
on.
Yeah.
So
It's awful.
I don't know why. Preschool, all you do is just draw and you paint and you play with Play-Doh.
Yeah, it's miserable.
I want to watch Pokemon.
That's all Pat wanted to watch Pokemon and wrestling. His friend, I think, was a big wrestling fan back in the day.
Well, my brother was. He's a little bit older than me.
See, wrestling to me, I loved it. Up until I don't know what year it was, but like Ultimate Warrior, that whole generation, Hogan and Piper and Ravishing Rick Rude, that's all fun. I can't watch it now. You could not pay me to watch wrestling. I could not do it. But if you show me like WrestleMania 3, I'll sit down and watch the whole thing. I can't watch new wrestling. I don't know why. I can't do it.
Well,
I don't know why. It's just me. Obviously, it's very popular. I can't watch it.
Wrestling came out really when we were.
Oh, of course, it changed.
It changed when we were kids. Because I remember it being on like USA or whatever.
Yeah.
They used to have.
Yeah,
like,
USA.
The other, it wasn't WWE. There used to be the guy that was the Indian. Well, with the headdress and all that stuff. And it was like, it wasn't It was one of the other.
WCW.
Maybe it was maybe. It was because I remember it looked cheesy. I mean, it wasn't polished.
No, I remember watching USA on Monday nights or Sunday nights. I remember, like Bobby the Brain and them. They would comment. I remember watching it. I mean, I remember.
Well, that's the thing when WWF, and then it kind of changed, and then they had the cartoon. I used to watch the cartoon.
I started
and
watching it now. I can't watch
figures.
it. I can't watch it now.
No, well, most
it was
of
fun
them,
as a kid though.
Most of them don't hold up.
We used to wrestle in my front yard. Mm-hmm. I was always Warrior or Hogan or Junkyard Dog or one of the British Bulldogs. My brother was always Piper. My brother was obsessed with. I was always Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And it just turned out he killed someone like 40 years ago.
No, he killed him at the time.
Yeah, 40 years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
He got dismissed from it, but when he gave it his autobiography, it's like different than what he had said, and the family caught it, and he went to jail now. So
that's crazy.
You know what's funny? It tells you how big it was. Actually, it was all because of Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah, her dad was
Lou Albano, Captain Lou, and that's where she's like, oh, he was a wrestler. Like in the interviews, and that's where kind of people like, oh, into the wrestling. And then for Goonies, she did the song for it, and it's a 2-part video with all the people from the wrestlers, and it actually tells a story. And the Goonies were in it too, and I
remember seeing Goonies in the theater. Goonies was a fun. Those movies aren't like that anymore.
Because now everything has to be like has to be a tentpole. We're gonna make sequels for it. They weren't thinking about it. Like we're gonna make a movie, and that's it.
You ever see Goonies?
Oh yeah, Goonies is great.
Goonies is great, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Goonies is, you know why I love Goonies? Because this generation will never experience that. Because that's what you did.
Well, that's the thing.
I was home all myself. Okay, my friends were over. You just hang out. You wouldn't do anything wrong. You just hanging out. You might break a lamp or something like that. But that's what you did. You just hung around the house because TV. There was nothing on TV.
Yeah.
There was like Mama's Family, I Dream of Jeannie, and a cooking show. That was all you got. It was, I remember not even having cable when I was little.
Well, even with cable, there was nothing.
There was nothing on.
It was
there was
like
no
like you didn't have your choice. There was no Cartoon Network. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have your choice. So unless you had those specific periods of cartoon time, there was nothing on.
But I remember the whole day we would be in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like deep in the woods, by the river, and climbing up trees, building rope swings. We had hammers, nails, saws. We'd bring them out with our bikes. We're just sawing away. Nobody had first aid kits, cell phones, and that's what you did. And we'd build tree forts like 3-4 stories high. Like we would get a pulley system and we'd steal the wood from the factory next door and just take a ladder from somebody's backyard and whatever. You just did what you did. Now you can't do that anymore. Like we'd bring fireworks with us. We'd have
I don't think
nobody.
you're ever
No, that's what I'm saying. Goonies. That's what Goonies is. Goonies is like how we were when we were kids. Those days are gone.
You wouldn't understand like what are they doing? They're not.
And there was no racism. There was no word you couldn't use because you called anybody whatever you wanted. There was nothing, no bad will taken with it. Just like you call them stupid or whatever, and it didn't matter. It was very innocent time.
Mm-hmm.
Go fishing. We'd make like rafts and go way out in the middle of the pond with no life jackets on in this makeshift little raft, and we'd be fishing. We use a rock as an anchor. You can't do that. But that you did.
Yeah.
This wasn't that long ago.
It was.
This is going like 30 years ago.
30 years.
That's a long time.
But it doesn't feel like it's long.
I know. Well, to us it doesn't. It seems like yesterday. You know what I mean? But
this is what we did. We would build the biggest jumps on our bikes.
Oh yeah.
And we'd get wrecked. Bloody knuckles. Knocking teeth out and whatever.
What?
Yeah.
Why did you do?
Because that's what you did, man. You were kids.
Live life.
Teeth are alright, whatever.
What?
Teeth are no joke, man.
I know they're not.
Yeah.
I remember we built this ramp in the middle of my road, and my neighbor, I forget his name, it might have been Brett, I can't remember. I remember he jumped it, and I was like, oh my god, he made it. And I remember when he came down, the fork split on his bike, and he went down, and his knuckles punched the ground. I just remember, I think he broke all his fingers. I remember the blood everywhere.
Oh.
And he just ran down the street home, and we're like, okay, we carried his bike home.
See you guys.
We carried his bike home, and then guess what we did? We just everybody else jumped it. Yeah. We just did it.
Let's do the jumps.
It was fun, man. You know why back then there was a lot more abandoned places. There wasn't as many housing. A lot more woods and trails, and that's what you did. It was not. You didn't worry about anything. The only thing you worried about was like maybe breaking your arm or something. You didn't worry about like getting like seriously hurt or somebody doing anything to you.
Yeah.
Because you know what, that stuff there existed, but you didn't see it as much. If it didn't happen in your area, you didn't hear about it. Now with the sex offender list, and it's obviously a safer world because you can look at things, but you can see what's out there.
Well, that's what they say. Because there's that lady, like, she lived in an apartment complex, and the kid was playing outside. I forget how old he was. He wasn't. Like, he was like 7, and then one of the neighbors called the cops, and then they arrested her.
Yeah.
And the neighbor's like, well, I didn't want them to do that. They just wanted to, like, warn her. But, like, they're like, no, they're going to arrest her because that's the way, the kid was playing. He was in, like, it was a gated community. He was playing the thing, but, it's just like one of those things. Like, that you can't, you're not allowed to do it anymore.
Well, I think in Florida, there was a 10-year-old walking with a 6-year-old.
That was in Maryland.
It was in Maryland. They called and like, they're just walking at 10 years old. It's like...
They were going from the park home.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I was at the park all the time.
Well, that's what I was going to say back. They were saying, like, it's actually, like, crime rates are down. It's, like, safer than when we were kids.
But you didn't see it. You know what I mean? Like, with social media and stuff like that, everything's instant. You see it now.
But you know what they said, too? Like, people are like, oh, somebody's going to abduct you and everything. But somebody brought it up. They're like, there's, like, such a low percentage that a stranger is going to abduct somebody. The most people are abducted by somebody you know. You know what I mean? So it's like
No, exactly. You know, and I remember, like I was in a different house every day. Yeah, we're over there. Oh,
Yep.
Let's go in there. Hey, kids, you want something to drink? Sure, you would just go in the house.
Yeah.
You know, now if my kid was on high, I'm gonna lose my mind. But
where are you? Where are you going?
Yeah.
Have your phone on you.
yeah, we didn't have phones. You know, we had nothing. We didn't have cordless phones. I had a rotary phone. You turn the thing.
I didn't have a phone growing up.
Did you have a rotary phone?
What did you have? Have you had internet access your whole life?
I mean, I didn't know how to use a computer when I was a kid.
No, I know, but I think it's been available since you. What year were you born?
92?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like totally.
It was
94 kind of popped up.
Everywhere.
I don't
Yeah,
know
like
what I had. I mean, I don't really remember things until.
What was it? Yeah, Prodigy was the first one I remember, and then AOL
AOL.
popped up. Prodigy, some people AOL everybody had, and then it just changed.
Well, because it's funny that when I was, because we did stuff, but we didn't have like internet stuff, and then when I was in college, we took like computers,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember that was a question, an extra credit question, was to put in the address for a website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just a website, like www.
ToysRUs.com.
Exactly, and I got it wrong.
You got it right.
Because I didn't know. We didn't do it. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was my friend. Like you had to set an email account up. Like we didn't, whatever, do it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't get a computer until 1999-ish, 2000. And, I didn't have one. I was like, I don't care. I don't even want to say, And then it finally was like, no, I do need one.
Well, yeah, now you can't live without.
No, it's different now. But everything's based, geared towards it. But it's funny because our childhood is not that much different than our parents.
Yeah.
Aside from color TV, phone might be different, but your childhood to us is very, very different.
Oh yeah.
It's very different. Yeah. So it's weird. Like I still have a hard time. 3D printing freaks me out. Like when I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, we've made this. I'm like, what? Like it baffles me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
dude, I mean,
I can't wrap my
even my childhood compared to now.
I can't wrap my brain around it. You know what I mean? And sometimes how quick Facebook is or Twitter and the communication, it's kind of scary. So that's why to go back to Star Wars, I'm a little worried about. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you avoid spoilers. It comes out the day before in England.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not looking at it, it's going to pop up in a news feed or something. You can't ignore it. You know what I mean?
I think people are going to be, for the most part, kind of respectful.
I don't think so. These websites aren't.
It takes like one person.
These websites aren't. They're gonna. Cause you know why? They want to be the first one to say it. Now everything's credited. Oh, you see it on sports. Buster Olney reports. Adam Schefter reports. It was used to be just AP. Now it's exactly who said it. Patrick Tim McCluskey reports that Return of the Jedi is actually a comedy. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Well, that's the thing.
I'll take credit for that.
I understand what you're saying. It's just like it seems like, but what credit? You were the first one to see it. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
I know, but it's all about
see it.
it's all about likes. It's all about likes and shares and the source of it. So.
I'm not going to look for credits. I mean, I've seen two. I haven't seen all the trailers. I've seen some of them, but the newer ones, I'm going to see the movie. I'm not going to look at spoilers. I mean,
I don't look it up. If it's in my face, I'll obviously see it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not going to hide from it, but I'm not going to read into it. I don't search for it, but if I see it in a news feed or somebody's in the store talking about it, whatever. All I care is that the movie is good. I just want episode 7 to be good. I'm not really worried about spoilers or this happened, because I just want it to be good. At this point in my life, I want it to be good. That's
I think it's going to be good because I think Disney has so much riding on it that I think they care about it more than Lucas.
Well, you know why? Because Lucas, I don't think ever looked at it like a business. I think he looked at it like something he made and people like. And yes, he made money off it. And
I don't think he ever.
I think he just wanted to use the special effects.
He wanted to bring that forward. I think he liked it. It's fine, but I didn't think he I don't think it was his favorite thing.
Yeah.
I don't think he was super into it. I think it was a means to an end. He was into it, I think, in the beginning.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think the prequels were just like, okay, like, he wanted to do, okay, we're going to do blue screen acting. That's what it is. Everybody's going to act in front of blue. We don't need a set. And that was his thing.
Which is completely opposite what it was. That's why I like what Abrams is doing.
Mm-hmm. Practical
effects.
That's right, practical effects, where they're using, obviously, you can use, but they're building sets. Like, they're building the cockpit to the Millennium Falcon. The aliens are puppets, and some aren't. But that's the whole thing. Like, as much as, obviously it's just Frank Oz there, Yoda, you kind of believed he was there. In the new one, he looked, especially when he's bouncing up and down.
Yeah,
it didn't look good. It looked fake. He never looked fake in the other ones. You know what I mean? The way his brow would move and his the hair on his ears, and he just looked, even Jabba the Hutt. Like in the episode 1, he looked stupid. In Jedi, he looks great. It's like 5 people in a big puppet.
They put the time into it and to craft a good, like special effect. That's the thing. It's to you don't have to close inspection.
When I realized the generation thing was, I remember Pat coming in and I said, "Did you like the Star Wars movies?" He's like, "Yeah, but I don't know any of their names. How do you know all their names?" I'm like, "Oh, the action figures." Because I think when you watch it, you would think like, "Oh, that's going to be."
Yeah.
They're going to name them all, and you're like, they didn't name any of them.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Like Empire, they don't say any of the bounty hunters' names. They're just there for 3 seconds, and that's it.
That's why when they came out, Zuckuss, like Forlom and Zuckuss were switched on the cards. Yeah. So the robot was called Zuckuss and the other guy was called Forlom, and because they didn't know, they just whatever,
they just messed them up for them.
It's just on the original names, like right there, Horseman. He looks like a horse, but like that they didn't have. It was just a physical description. Hammerhead. He looked like a Hammerhead. They didn't have. Later on, they gave him Ponta Baba and Modan. Yeah. So there was no. It was just somebody in the background, but they were awesome.
That's all you got is yeah.
I don't know what you guys have said.
well, that's the thing. You know what? And this too is that if you whether you were 3 or 13, you collected and played with the same things as Star Wars. Now it's very segregated. They have like the Play School stuff, the Imagine X stuff. Then they have the their little figures, and they have the black line.
Yeah.
Now back then it was just like this is it. This is Star Wars figures. You didn't have like the what were the little guys.
Like the
2-packs that were out a few years ago.
I know what you're saying.
The Galactic Squadron. Yeah.
Galactic Heroes?
Yeah, the Galactic Heroes. They didn't have that when we were kids.
You just had the figures.
You had Darth Vader. Little Patrick, who was 4 years old, has Darth Vader. Dr. Jonny at 13 has Darth Vader. It's the same figure. That's what you had.
Well, it's the thing, 4 and up. 4.
Yeah, going because of the small pieces. That was it. But the commercials were great because they were actually the kids playing with the toys. The boxes were cool because it was just like, a kid standing there with it in his hand, You missed it all, Pat. I know you got your Pokemon.
Of course.
Which I've said before, if Pokemon was in my generation, I would have been the biggest Pokemon nut.
Yeah.
Because I would have loved it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Not so much. Dragon Ball Z, no thank you.
I love Dragon Ball Z, but I can't.
See, we had our own anime. We had Voltron.
Which is awful.
And we had...
I liked the robot. I couldn't watch it.
Robotech.
Nope. Boring. I did not watch Robotech.
What else was there? Something else.
I didn't watch it.
I like Voltron.
I liked the robot. I thought he was cool looking. But
Form, blazing sword.
Yeah, but when the guys were there, I'm like, I can't watch this.
Well, it was always the same thing. They would they would fight them separately against the lions, and then they'd be like, they would get beat up against the Robo Beast, and then they would form Voltron, and they would fight them, and then like, they would still kind of do it, then they would form the blazing sword and cut them in half, and that would be over.
Spoiler. Power Rangers, I wouldn't like the show, but the figures I would have collected.
Well, it's a continuation of like Voltron.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like it. But I could. The Megazords are cool, especially that Astro Train Megazord. That was pretty cool.
I kind of missed it. I'm not gonna lie.
Missed it? Where were you?
I'm not on that. I don't know.
You weren't in Power Rangers?
That was definitely after us.
Yeah, no, Power Rangers was like 90. We were in high school. And Power Rangers like
we used to watch Batman. I think everybody watched Batman.
The animated series?
Yeah.
That's different. That was dark. The Batman animated series.
You know what? It's funny. Everybody watched in still high school.
X-Men.
Batman, X-Men, but all the Tiny Toons, Animaniacs.
It was different. You know why? It was like an extension of us. Where Power Rangers was like...
It was kiddie.
It was too kiddie. Ninja Turtles, too kiddie.
It's like all those things kind of like went with us from when we were kids. We watched cartoons, and then they got older as we got older.
Yeah, and that's what it was. They were just evolved versions of what we had. You know what I mean? Because people are like, oh, I can't watch the 90s Spider-Man. I'm like, oh yeah, watch the 80s Spider-Man, and you'll see how good the 90s Spider-Man was. Have you ever watched Amazing Friends?
I've seen it.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's all.
There's the one with Iceman and
That was.
It was not good.
You know, but it was.
But I loved it, but it was not good.
That was like Swarm was on it. That's how crazy it was. They had Swarm as one of the villains, and then they had remember the video game man. He came in like the video arcade game, and he looked like something out of like Galactica or something like that. He was like, and he was flat, and like Spidey had to fight him. No. Okay.
I didn't watch it much. I wasn't into superheroes when I was a kid. I was into Transformers and G.I. Joes and He-Man. I wasn't into like.
See, I didn't read comic books, but it was on Saturday morning, so if it was a Saturday morning thing, I would watch.
I was more. I liked Pac-Man and those type of cartoons more than like Spider-Man. Cubert. Pac-Man was cool. You knew the property was cool if it had a cartoon back in the day.
Mega Man? I used to watch that.
That was later on.
Which one?
Mega Man. That was like late 90s, early 2000s.
I used to watch it.
Yeah, it's a whole different.
Donkey Kong had a show.
Yeah.
Before...
You know what Cubert is?
Yeah, the orange thing.
Yeah, with a.
Well, if you saw Wreck-It Ralph, he was there.
Oh, I have to see that. I've never seen it.
You would like it.
I'm
it's
sure.
Good. What was it? But yeah, remember Captain N? Do you know Captain N?
Yes.
The Nintendo show.
Yeah.
He like got sucked in the show, like into this other thing, but like it was other people's from the games, like the
Simon Belmont was
Simon Belmont.
You know who Simon Belmont is?
From Castlevania.
No,
Metroid was
Samus. I don't
see, but Metroid Mother Brain was in it.
Yeah, but I don't remember Samus being in it.
The Eggplant Wizards were in it.
Yeah.
Was Mario? No, I don't think so. Because I remember there was a Mario show.
Yeah.
I don't remember though. I don't remember.
Wait,
that
Samus wasn't in Metroid?
No, in the cartoon, he bounced through the world, the Nintendo worlds.
Okay.
And I remember Mother Brain being in it, but I don't remember Samus being in it.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I mean?
She was one of the main villains.
I don't remember Samus being in it though.
But she had like a face on the brain.
And Simon Belmont was kind of like Johnny Bravo-ish.
Yeah.
I remember that. I gotta look. I haven't watched that in forever. You know, I've been watching at home, and Isabella's been kind of watching it. I put on YouTube on my TV. I put the '67 Hanna-Barbera FF cartoons.
Oh, okay.
Because they're so corny.
Yeah.
But they're like actually the comic though. You know, like they do the Galactus trilogy. They have the Red Ghost and they have the Watcher and Ramatut and all that stuff like that. So I've been watching them. I mean, they're bad, but I love them. Like I'd rather watch that than like a season of whatever you guys watch.
Well, we've been watching. We're saying Animaniacs because we put with all the songs we do. All the states.
I was never a huge Animaniacs fan.
And all the countries when they sing it and they get.
Pat's. How many episodes of Naruto are there?
Oh man, I don't even know.
Have you ever seen Pat when he looks like he's half asleep? It's because he's up all night watching Naruto. How many episodes is it?
It's like over 400.
Holy crikey!
Of Shippuden, not including the 200 of Naruto. Yeah, it was a huge mistake. Netflix ruined my life.
What's the Japanese one called?
What?
The Japanese Netflix you're gonna sign up for?
Oh, Crunchyroll.
It's called Crunchyroll. It's like a
Yeah.
And they not only do you get like it's like a Netflix for Japanese cartoons, they send you like Japanese candy every month. How cool is it in a box? And it's called Crunchyroll. How cool is that? That's awesome.
It's horrible.
Did you sign up?
Not yet, but soon.
The good thing he's gonna bring the candy in so I can try it.
Yeah. I messed up. Shouldn't have done it.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if we've become that like, oh, when I was a kid things were better, because I think they were. I know the internet makes things easier and funner, but like there's something about.
I think this is different.
It's just different. It is. It feels better to me though. Like you know what I mean. Like I don't get excited about anything. I mean I'm pumped for the episode 7. Like I cannot wait. But Civil War, I see the trailer like, oh, it looks cool, and it's just like, yeah. I'm gonna like the movie. I'm gonna think it's a great movie. I'm gonna love it. But there's just something about. Yeah. So do you know what it is? There's something about Star Wars that's different.
Mm-hmm.
You already saw the trailer with the kick.
I saw the kick. And I saw
it. It's gonna be more.
Yeah, and Black Panther. It's awesome. And the movie's gonna be phenomenal. But there's something about Star Wars.
It's bigger. I mean,
it's not just bigger. It's just something about it.
The difference is that people that aren't comic book fans, that aren't regular stuff like space, whatever sci-fi fans are excited about this movie. When they were talking about the thing, I know my parents were talking about the movie coming out. My sister talking about it.
Yeah.
My wife, who's kind of into not as big as me, whatever. She's like totally can't wait. You know what I mean? Like it brings people that aren't only in this area into it because they're excited about it. You know what I mean? That's what's different about
You
it.
notice too, there's never any controversy with it. Everybody's always like, if you like a character, nobody like makes fun of you. It's just like, you know, you like Han Solo, Chewbacca, the droids, Vader. Nobody's like, oh my god, you like them. Like, there's nothing like that. It's just like, everybody's like together.
Yeah.
You know? Minus the original prequels are just stupid, so don't.
Well, that's kind of thing
the
where
original
people.
trilogy.
What about Wedge? I feel like people don't like Wedge.
Why not? Wedge
Wedge is like the.
Yeah.
I don't mind them, but I thought I remember hearing that.
No, I'd
No,
never heard of that.
okay.
Because Wedge was in every one. He survived.
Oh yeah, I
everything.
remember. I know that.
No, the only ones, it's like.
Jar Jar.
Why'd you bring up Jar Jar?
Well, he said the people that would hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like,
that's the prequels. I don't. Half those movies are like that. I'm talking about the other ones. Like, sometimes people 3PO maybe because he's a little whiny. Or R2 is like you know the tough one. Other than that, it's like you can't. There's no, you know, Yoda's cool. Like they're all like everybody's the same. You know, unless I mean the only stupid ones are like Lobot. I can't
Lobot.
stand. I was never a Lobot fan.
He's a cyborg.
Yeah, he's just.
He took a part of his brain away, so he can interface with the rest of the whole computer system.
He's just.
So he loses part of his humanity because it replaced it.
I didn't like him. I didn't like the Ugnaughts.
What are the Ugnaughts?
They're just, you know what Ugnaughts are?
They're little pig people.
That take apart 3PO on the Cloud City.
Oh, okay.
Well, they didn't take him apart. He got blown up by the.
Well,
got shot.
but they were like.
But they were playing with the parts.
Yeah.
And Chewbacca was trying.
Yeah.
They're ugly little people. See, that's the thing. Like, they're not like going back because that Ewoks. Some people like the Ewoks. Oh, they're so cute. They're not cute. The only cute one is the baby Ewok.
Yeah, no, they're not cute at all.
If
they're
you
ugly.
look at them,
They
they're
look
ugly.
like mad raccoons. They're not cute. Ewoks aren't cute. They got these big eyes. They got these weird teeth. They're not cute little.
And they want to eat them. That was the whole thing. They were going to eat them. Except
they're
when
not cute.
when 3PO.
The babies are cute. The little baskets.
Yeah.
That's it.
And when the one dies, and his friend like shakes him, he's like, "Come on!" And he's like, and he doesn't get up. He's like, "Oh."
Yeah.
No, Pat.
No.
No what?
On a laughter scale.
Yeah.
Okay, which one's more? Which one provides more of a potent laugh from you? Vader tossing Emperor.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon running down and blowing out both his quads, jumping into the ring and not getting up.
Which everybody should look up right now.
Or the video of the guy, the firefighter, and the woman falling down
that's a lot messed up.
down the ladder. And is it Jerry King Lawler saying something?
JR.
JR.
Yeah, he's commentating.
They put it over. Dude, it is funny. Is God is my witness? How it says?
As God as my witness.
And they come falling down. I think it's actual like footage of
Yeah.
people like. I think that they fall on each other. It comes flying down. It's like a really like.
It's a very serious video with the
But when they put the commentary, it's funny. And just seeing Pat like. I'll just send him random gifts of somebody getting kicked.
Honestly, I think Vince McMahon will always take
Yeah. That was bad. Did you see that one?
What?
Vince McMahon? He's running
Yeah, I
into the
think
ring.
you play. Yeah.
Rolled up both his quads, and he stays in character, and he's just sitting there, mad, and all the wrestlers are like, why is he standing up?
The amount of pain he was in.
I know. He blew up both. He tried to stand up. He couldn't stand up. He looked like a puppet. He was like,
Yeah.
He falls back down. And then, like, the wrestlers are like, okay, let's pretend to fight again. And
So they throw him out the ring just to get the camera away. Yeah, that's great.
That's Pat. Yeah, that's Pat. So, I'm going to go on record as saying my favorite Star Wars film of all time is Jedi. It's not the best, but it's my favorite.
Mine too. If I had a pickle.
Johnny, what's your favorite? Not the best. What's your favorite?
I know. I would probably still just go with Star Wars. So my favorite. I still love.
I love
Return.
them all. I love them
Return. I love Jabba. I love that whole thing. I mean, which goal rings with more? I don't know. Something about Star Wars. Because you know what? I like the aliens, and they also had the aliens in that.
The cantina scene.
Yes.
Great. That's
Han
great.
shooting first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just Jedi for me. I love Jedi. I think that the certain sounds and scenes in New Hope are like they hit you because it's like you plug right in. And Empire is just like a beautiful painting, and Jedi is just fun.
You know what the thing too about with those? I just think about it is I love the transitions. are just the swipes. It's just like there's this thing, it just goes thing, and then like the part where they're at night, whatever, and then when it goes, it just swipes across, and it's the land speeder at day going across.
It's
just
awesome.
like, okay, here we are.
And it was a simple thing. It wasn't anything special they did. It just kind of swiped it, and it just changed everything. They would put the Vaseline underneath to make it look like it's floating on the film. That's how they made it. You couldn't see the wheels.
And they just kind of put it up, so
yeah.
Like, oh no.
It was cool. Awesome. So, again, we're wrapping this up, Patrick, I know you were very against being here.
Yeah, sorry.
I know you're
starving.
You're starving, you're complaining, and you're tired. And
I don't really like Star Wars.
You don't like Star Wars.
It's okay though.
And you had to be on this one because of Jedi and the Emperor tossing. So I think we should have a contest. We're gonna get like a dummy from like the fire department, just like the Emperor, and we'll do contest who can throw home the farthest.
Could we do that, please?
Okay. Well, we have to put like weights on our shoulders to be like Vader, where you're struggling, and
we
then
just
you
have to dress him up with the.
And Nick
robe.
Justice, who's here very regularly, who I love, can do a perfect Emperor. If you ever see him, he's gonna do it for me on here. He does like, Frank Caliendo does all the voices for everybody. He can do the Emperor perfectly. And he actually usually has a hoodie he puts on, and he sounds just like him. So if you do ever see Nick Justice, ask him to do the Emperor because he'll do it perfectly. So for Dr. Jonny Knoll, who's been on hiatus here for a while, now he's back. Patrick Dan McCloskey, who I think just fell asleep.
Yeah.
And I'm Corry, of course. Again, find us at Zapp Comics, zappcomics.com. Zapp Comics Radio Podcast, Audio Boom, iTunes, anywhere on the net. So look us up. Also YouTube. So we'll see you guys soon.
Night.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. Comics Radio Podcast. Zapp